My sister is already pushing my limits. Now she wants to bring her children.
Stop pushing my buttons.
Do not push it to the limit. So, my sister lives in a house literally next door to our parents, and I live in a large city about 45 minutes away from their suburbs.
Ooh.
My sister has 2 kids, 8 female, 5 male, and was a military wife, but was widowed. He got in a car accident. Didn't happen when he was in action. She has gone back to school and gotten a degree in IT and is very good with computers, tech, and math, so that makes sense. By the way, this comes from user, my sister makes me crazy. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK storytime subreddit and submit them there. Now, unfortunately, there aren't really jobs where she is anymore. Not many, so she is having to look in the big city where I am. Well, she got a job, but she doesn't want to move her kids out until the end of the school year to make sure the job works out and also make it smoother for them. So she devised a plan to stay with me during the week in the city and let our parents watch the kids during the week. My parents are thrilled. Being grandparents is their favorite thing ever, and they love taking care of the kids. And
Cute.
I'm perfectly okay with it, except my sister is the worst house guest ever. Here are some issues. My husband and I are child-free, and I'm the older sister. So it's clear we're not having kids. We also made it clear when this agreement was made that we didn't want her kids staying overnight in our home. They never have, and it's not a home for kids. Instead, what? Not a home
How is
for
it
kids.
not a home for kids?
Do they just leave sharp objects everywhere? And it's like the
They're
outlets.
like, it's not a home for kids. You can't have your kids over.
The outlets have tiny neon signs over them that says,
We
put
all of our forks next to the outlets.
We leave them inside
in all
the
of
outlets.
our corners, we sharpen them every day.
We take a little angle grinder and we sharpen up the corners of every surface in our house.
There's also a bunch of holes that you can fall into at a moment's notice.
We've got a guy just welding stuff in the middle of the living room.
Also, Pennywise is in our sewers, so it's just not safe for kids.
It's just not a home for kids.
Yeah.
There's a river of lava upstairs. We don't talk about it. The contractor said it's now not fixable.
The HOA said we couldn't take it out. Okay? We tried.
Okay, instead of keeping the normal routine for her winter break, since she still had to work one of the 2 weeks the kids were off, she tried to bring her kids here for a full week. She just arrived with the kids, so they had to stay the night, and she threw a fit when we told her this could not stand for the week. She bad-talked us to my parents and her kids over it, which is whack, and complained endlessly about how heartless we were to keep her away from her kids. She also, previously to this, had her daughter over several times when her daughter was sick.
Ugh.
And one time, since it was a day my husband had off, she even wanted to go to work and have him watch her while she was home sick. He refused and went out for the day, but that was ridiculous. She also asked me to stay home with the kids since she was new at her job, but I'm not sure why my niece needed to be dragged into the city sick. Why not just leave her with my parents? They're still relatively young, spry, and have no issues taking care of them. So why would a time when the child is sick be appropriate to bring her to our place? Another weekend with approval, when the kids had a Monday off and so did I, she had the kids stay Saturday and Sunday night, and I took them to the zoo for the day on Monday while my sister was at work. We don't hate her kids. We just feel she uses them to cross boundaries.
I mean, absolutely. If you're saying, hey, we can't take care of the kids, and she just drops them off, yeah, she's crossing boundaries.
Yes, exactly.
You got one of those salt boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
and she's crossing it.
And look,
It's not child friendly.
is this a case of OP, like maybe just like not liking the kids? I don't know. It sounds like it's like when they were okay with the timeline, it was fine. It's not like they don't like the kids. However, even if that was the case,
Fine. It's fine.
that's the case then.
Yeah. It is not OP's responsibility to take care of these kids.
Mm-hmm. And then it's also just doubly good
Full
to
stop.
be like, hey,
Yeah.
you don't want me looking after your kids. I won't like them.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think
won't
it's
like, no one's going to have a good time.
A very fair excuse to give anyone who says, hey, can you babysit my kids? No, sorry.
No.
Why
can't you? I won't treat them very well because I don't like children. And they will annoy me quickly and I will be hostile. And it's like, okay, well, if you know that about yourself, don't watch kids.
Don't watch kids.
Maybe don't have them either.
Yeah, probably not.
And that sounds like that's what the plan is.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back into the story. She's also really messy.
The baby?
Well, I was assuming the sister, but I bet
Okay.
you the 8 and 5-year-olds
Yeah.
are also not the tidiest.
Always making a mess.
She is really messy. I mean, her own house was always beautiful, so I don't get it. But she has literally not bothered to wash a single dish that she's used, start the dishwasher, and she throws her laundry in with mine, even though my husband and I don't even have common laundry. Finally, I bought her a laundry bin of her own, and she started using it, but she's always asking me to do her laundry for her. I did it a few times, but now I just refuse. It's constant, and she hasn't participated in house cleanup since she moved in. She will sometimes cook for herself, but she leaves a huge mess in the kitchen. Even worse, leaving scrambled eggs or beef fat and such on the pans. We're vegan, but we're not rude about it. She can have and cook meat, eggs, etc. in the house, but I can't stand the sight of her dishes sometimes with all these meat products in them. She's also very loud in the morning. Both my husband and I have more flexible jobs and sleep until 8 or 9, but she gets up at 5:30 a.m. and as soon as she's out of the shower, goes straight into the living room, blares the TV, loudly makes breakfast, often on the egg pans, and wakes up all of us. Not every day, but often. We've talked to her about it and she apologizes, but lately she just says, well, maybe you should wear earplugs if you sleep so light. She doesn't have a TV in her room, but she has an iPad she could watch on, or we have headphones set up to our TV that we use late at night so as to not wake the neighbors or her, which she could easily be using. I really feel ready to remove her just after a few months, and I don't know how to make it to summer when the kids get out of school, honestly. I also don't really see why she hasn't started showing her house since her job is going well and she has started mentioning that we have an extra room. It's a game room, not an extra room that the kids could stay in. I always laugh her off or seriously shoot her down, but she's now clearly been saying it to my parents because they are bringing it up too. Honestly, I don't want to let her stay now, let alone lengthen the stay. This is ridiculous, but my mother seemed very insistent I let her and the kids move in with me this summer. I am not going to, but I would like this to not become a giant family drama. I'm already the black sheep of the family as both my sister and my brother across the country have kids. And my parents always wanted us all to have big families. They think my husband and I are kind of defective, that we don't want children. They love me, but they don't really like me. At least that's how it feels sometimes. They also hate that I'm vegan, even though I try really hard to never be rude about it. Basically, we're already the weirdos of the family. There's a preface edit here. I feel like maybe I downplayed that my sister was widowed 2 years ago and that some of this seems like her not being quite herself. We are close, and she is actually the one who never treated me like I was weird for being child-free and vegan, so on and so forth. So I wanted to add that as someone suggested I should. I don't think I exaggerate her behavior here at all. This is what's happening, but some context might be more fair. It's like, yeah, that would be a really gnarly thing to have to deal with on the day-to-day. Like, you have a husband who's in the service, he gets out, he makes it, comes back home, gets, meets his maker via car accident.
Oh,
Like,
that's
a real tough one to
I've had that
to
in my
figure out,
family.
to digest.
It's really hard.
Here's the update. So I sat down with my father before talking to my sister because I felt my mom was being very pushy about the whole situation. My father mentioned that my mom was just very worried about my sister because apparently she'd fallen apart worse than any of the rest of us had seen after her husband passed away. She seemed to be seeing a therapist, raising her kids, going to school and getting a job, getting her license and keeping it together. But apparently the messiness and laying about had already started in her own house, and my mom had been cleaning up after her, etc. Since my sister had always been an amazing housewife and kept a beautiful house, this really startled my mother. Apparently, they went in her house after not going in there for a month because she always went over to theirs, and it looked like an episode of Hoarders with bugs and roaches and all kinds of problems. No one ever told me.
Oh, horrible.
And this is why it's good to approach situations with curiosity.
Yeah, like check in on her. See, why she's acting like that.
Not my sister's leaving all this crap all over my house because she's a slob and she hates me and she doesn't care what I think. Like, oh, my sister is completely emotionally drained and is probably going through a depressive episode.
She's also trying to take care of children.
Clearly, this issue was very deep in my sister, and her psyche was somehow embedded in the dishes and laundry issue. But I didn't think continuing to enable her was really helping her anyway, so I still sat down and gave her some clear house rules in writing with consequences.
Good. Yeah, that is the way to do it. It's clear communication where you're saying, hey, these things need, like, I'm here for you. I understand that things are like really tough for you, but these are what I need to see change. And these are the consequences. I'm not going to kick you on the street right now, but you have to change how you're acting in my house.
True. I also told her there was no way to extend her stay or bring the kids here, and talked to her about potentially commuting if she decided she could. Since many people asked why she didn't, she does have a driving phobia, but it's clearly improving. I told her I support her and will always be here for her, but some kinds of behavior are just not okay no matter how much pain she's in. We had what I'd consider a good talk. She agreed to all the rules about cleanliness, and the past few days she has been much neater and quieter. But of course, it's too short of a time to tell much of anything major. I hope things will improve for her. She's not sure she can commute back and forth, but doesn't want to sell the house in case she can. So that was part of wanting to extend her stay, not having to make a decision. And by the way, you can make a decision to listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can just search OK Storytime, and there you will find 53 consecutive days worth of stories for you to listen to with your cute little ears. You think I don't see them? I do.
They're cute.
They're adorable. Look at you with those little cute ears. Having cute here, having Okay, sorry, I lost it there. I lost the plot there for a second, guys. But I'm back.
And we got a little bit of left.
Back. And we've got a little bit of story left. Your cute ears distracted me. So, oh God, the story disappeared. Not again.
Well, I'll give some final thoughts. I think OP has handled this very well. I think approaching it with maybe not as much curiosity as she should have in the beginning, but like we've gotten to that point where she understands kind of the full story and understands why her sister is doing all of this, and it seems to be now giving her a little bit more grace while also still maintaining boundaries, which I think is important.
Yeah, I do, and I feel guilty of sort of brushing that car accident under the rug, because we did read that at the beginning of the story, and I did internally think, I was like, oh, I guess she must have been.
I
guess she must have processed it.
Truthfully,
because they said it was like in a parentheses.
Yeah.
But the way it was said made me feel like,
I thought it was
maybe
like
they
much
had
earlier
really
or something.
processed it.
Yeah.
Like it's been a couple years and she's like on the other side of it.
Yeah, but no, this was recent.
Clearly the exact opposite of that is what was going on. Check in on your people, folks.
Yeah.
Let's finish the story. I pointed out June is far away, so we can make the decision of whether to rent out or sell the house in April or May, since she has money saved anyway, and our parents can help her rent it out. They literally rent out houses for a living. I will continue to help and support her with this, and she's going to try to commute home a few days a week if she feels up to it, to tackle her phobia and see her kids more. I just wanted to leave an update about the situation and a thank you, because the thread gave me some great ideas. Talk to my dad, why wasn't she commuting, etc., and really helped me find my words.
Good.
And that is the end of that story.